Hello again, and welcome back to our Naruto walkthrough. Before moving on to our next actual quest, we are going to have a second tutorial. The little scenes we are going to have a look at today are not part of any actual plot, but they will help us illustrate a few more rules we need to keep in mind when we read the Naruto novel. Once again, our teacher for today is going to be Hiruzen. Let's get started. For our first lesson today, we are going to jump quite late in the novel and have a look at a dialogue between Edo Hiruzen and Sasuke in chapter 619, that is, during the war. Please have a look at this little dialogue and tell me, what do we learn here about Itachi's wisdom? The correct answer is nothing. In Naruto, when a character says something, it only proves that he believes saying that is in his best interest. Naruto characters don't care about lying or telling the truth, they only care about their goals. Here, in this dialogue, Hiruzen's goal is the same as always, he wants to protect Konoha. Sasuke, on the other hand, is hesitating between destroying Konoha in order to avenge Itachi, or protecting Konoha, because that's what Itachi would have wanted. Hiruzen, of course, would prefer Sasuke to protect Konoha, because Sasuke is one of the most powerful men alive at this point of the story. And Hiruzen perfectly identified that Sasuke's motivation could be summed up in a single word, that is, Itachi. So essentially, the more you love Itachi, the more Sasuke is going to like you. From there, Hiruzen just starts praising Itachi as much as he can. Itachi was wise, Itachi thought like a Hokage, Itachi this, Itachi that, Itachi was a hero, etc. He does that in order to get Sasuke to his side, and it works. With some more input from the other Hokage, Sasuke does decide to protect Konoha and side against Madara during the war. So Hiruzen got what he wanted. Whether or not Itachi actually was as wise as a Hokage when he was a kid is irrelevant to this dialogue. That's our first rule for today. Statements are not to be trusted. Dialogues need to be read with character's goal in mind. Let's continue. For our next lesson, we are going to jump back much earlier in the novel and have a look at Hiruzen's fight against Orochimaru. Please have a look at this scene and tell me, what do we learn here about Hiruzen's ability to carry his staff? The correct answer is once again nothing. In Naruto, characters may lie in their dialogues, but also in their thoughts. You may say they are lying directly to the reader, or you may say their fake thoughts are meant to show a behavior, the way they are acting. Here in this scene, Hiruzen understood that Orochimaru's main weakness is that he wants to toy with him. So Orochimaru might get a little overconfident. Hiruzen decided to take advantage of the situation and fake as much weakness as he can in order to get Orochimaru to make a mistake. So here he's just pretending he's having trouble carrying his staff, but we do not know if it is actually the case. That's our second rule. Characters lie in their thoughts as well. Let's continue with another scene from the same battle. A few chapters later, Hiruzen gets caught in Edo Hashirama's darkness genjutsu. So tell me, what does it tell us about Hiruzen's ability to counter a genjutsu? Once again, the correct answer is nothing. The idea here is that Hiruzen still has the same strategy as before. He wants to make Orochimaru overconfident. And as it turns out, this genjutsu is quite convenient in that regard. The idea is, even blinded, Hiruzen is still able to locate and catch his targets. but being blinded is going to make him look even more helpless than before, so Orochimaru is likely to get even more reckless. And indeed, in the ensuing scenes, Orochimaru just stands there doing nothing, and Hiruzen gets the perfect opportunity to catch the Edo Hokage and seal them. So, our lesson here is that feats are not to be trusted. Just because a character fails to do something doesn't mean they couldn't have done it if they had wanted to. Here, it's just a little battle tactics. But later in this walkthrough, we're going to see, for example, character losing a fight on purpose, just because it serves a bigger plan. In Naruto, characters do not care about winning a battle, they care about reaching their long-term goals. Let's continue. For our next lesson for today, we are going to have a look at a little flashback Jiraiya is having about Hiruzen shortly after the Hokage's death. Please have a look at this dialogue and tell me, what do we learn here about Hiruzen being a pervert? I'm sure you got it by now. The correct answer is of course nothing. The idea here is that personalities can be fake as well. In this scene, Hiruzen is having the same problem he will have much later with Naruto, that is, Jiraiya is just a troublemaker. Hiruzen would like to turn Jiraiya into an upstanding Konoha ninja, and for that he needs to bond with his student. One of the best ways to befriend someone is to find a common interest and do something together. Unfortunately for Hiruzen, at this point of the novel, the only thing Jiraiya is interested in is being a pervert and spying on women. So in order to bond with Jiraiya, the only thing Hiruzen can do is to pretend being a pervert as well. That's our fourth rule for today. Personalities can be fake. Here, of course, it's just a little detail in a flashback. But as we are going to see later in the walkthrough, a character can fake his entire personality throughout the entire duration of the novel. Let's continue. There's one more concept we have yet to illustrate, that is, coincidences. When we studied the hidden plot of Chapter 1, that is Mizuki's mission, we didn't need any coincidence because we had 4 discrepancies already, and 4 discrepancies were more than enough to complete the quest. But for the sake of the exercise, let's pretend we did not have enough discrepancies, and let's pretend we actually needed a coincidence to consolidate our hidden plot. So please go back to Chapter 1 and find the coincidence we could have used in our demonstration. Right, the most obvious coincidence we could have used in the previous episode is the fact that the scroll contained Kagebunshin. Kagebunshin is a powerful technique, but it has a huge drawback, that is, the chakra cost. Since you're spreading your chakra between yourself and the clones, it can quickly get dangerous to use Kagebunshin. Naruto is one of the few characters in the novel who doesn't really need to worry about this, because every time he is running low on chakra, the cube is going to refill him. So really, Kagebunshin is perfect for him. So now, what are the odds that out of all the scrolls Naruto could have stolen, and out of all the techniques in Konoha, he would happen to specifically steal the scroll that happens to have Kagebunshin as a first technique? That's very unlikely. This coincidence further proves that the entire plot in Chapter 1 was engineered by Hiruzen. It is a perfect example as a coincidence. And later in the walkthrough, we are going to need some pattern recognition to identify coincidences that keep happening around the same character. And that's it for today. Let us quickly recap what we have learned in this lesson. We have learned that statements are not to be trusted, characters lie. Thoughts are not to be trusted either, characters lie in their thoughts. Feats are not to be trusted, characters can intentionally fail or lose a fight. Personalities can be fake. And finally, coincidences, most of the time, are not coincidences in Naruto. Before we move on to harder and more complex quests, let us thank Hiruzen for these tutorials. Hiruzen is a wonderful teacher, both in universe and to us readers.